Many people have asked me to do another video on all the exercises I'm doing for the foraminal stenosis I have. I have another video that you should watch first that's on my 4 pelvic correction exercises that my physical therapist gave me. Now I'm still doing one of those 4. I'm still doing the Pilates ring exercise. And I'm going to split this into 2 different videos because otherwise it'd be too long. So these are some of the exercises that my physical therapist added on later when I got better at some of the exercises just to increase the difficulty. And I'm going to talk through where I started and the different levels of difficulty he added to make it more challenging, and then where I'm at today, and if I get any better, where I'll take it after that. So the thing to keep in mind is my foraminal stenosis is in my lower back. It's not cervical, it's not in my upper back. So if you have stenosis in the upper, in the neck, in the upper back or mid back, you're gonna have to talk to your physical therapist to find out what exercise is the best for you. So these are what I'm doing for the lower back, and it's more about the core and strengthening the core so that I'm very strong in there, and also to keep me from falling down, which is, you know, my latest thing. So if you watch any other videos on my channel, you also see that I've had hand surgery on my left hand. I had foot surgery on my right foot. I need to do my left foot. So some of these things I had to take a break from depending on if they used hands or feet, but I'm getting back into them. So here we go. So in the other video on the pelvic correction exercises, I did clams. So I'll show you real quick how I did that. You have to have a band. So this band is from the physical therapist. They buy this TheraBand in huge rolls, and he just cuts them off. And the different colors represent different tensions. So the blue is one of the more intense. The yellow is the easiest. Then I think it's red and then green and then blue. I should know that. So, but if you're going to buy a band like this, like on Amazon, and I'll look through and post in the description box below what I find. When they measure them, they lay it down flat and they measure from left to right. It's not circumference. So this is maybe about 12 inches. I'll measure it to make sure. This is about 12 inches from here to here when it's laid down, but in circumference it'd be 24. So if you buy something that's 24 inches, it's going to really be 48. So that is something you want to keep in mind if you go shopping for one of these online. Okay, so the regular clams, and I'll brush myself off, make sure I can see myself in the video. The regular clams, you're just, I don't think I need the pillow. You're just lying down here, you're straight, and you're just lifting up like this. Holding it for about 3 seconds and down. About 3 seconds and down. All right, that's what I was doing in the beginning. That's the exercise in my last video on the pelvic correction exercise, but I've graduated from that. And for that, you would do about 15 of these and then flip over to the other side, do 15, and do 3 sets. Now, when I graduated to the next level, I was doing 50 of these on one side at a time, left side, and then 50 on the right, just to increase the tension. All right, so what he added next was a modified side plank, excuse me. So I'm down on an elbow on my left side. I put up my right arm and I lift myself up here. And then I'm just holding that for a good, I don't know, a good 40 to 45 seconds. Okay, and then flipping over and doing it on the other side. Now, to make it more difficult and more challenging, he had me add a hand weight. So you can start with a 1-pound dumbbell, I have a 2-pound dumbbell, and I have a 3-pound dumbbell. So it would include doing the plank, holding your arm up. You can't see me now, but the dumbbells in my hand, and then just going up and down like this, maybe like this. And if it's too much to start with a weight in your hand, then you just start with nothing in your hand. And you just bend your arm while you're counting. It just makes it more challenging to hold yourself in place. And when you're holding yourself, you want to really tighten the core muscles, front and back and glutes. Now, what he did next was to combine clams with the modified plank. So I'm going to go back with the band around my knees. Get my Pilates ring out of the way. Go back to the bent clams, all right? This is a clams position, but go up like a modified plank and do your clams like this. And then, of course, to make it more difficult, your next thing would be to make it more difficult. And you can go with the clams as you're going up and down. The next level of difficulty includes what you're going to do is straighten the top leg. And you're going to do your clams with your modified plank with that straight leg. So I come up, hold my arm up in the air. It's just, I have nothing in my hand. And then you're going to do this. Lift that leg and hold it for about 3 seconds. Now, instead of doing 15 reps, he told me to do it for 40 to 45 seconds, which for me is 17 repetitions. And after doing 17 of these, I flip over to the other side and do it there. Now, of course, then the next thing to make it a little more challenging is to hold a weight in your hand. Or no weight, and just move your arm around. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. And this is where I'm at right now, ladies and gentlemen. Now, to make it more challenging, and I'm not there yet, would be, and I got to check my notes to make sure, it's to straighten the bent leg, all right? 2 straight legs, modified plank, and then do this. Oh, I'm not there. I'm really not there. But if you master that, then the next thing would be to add the hand weight. So you'd be doing a regular modified plank with both legs straight and clams. Or you can even get a tighter band and put it around your ankles and do the modified plank with the plank. Ugh, yeah, I'm a long way from that. Now, after I finish my clams with modified plank, now I really need to do a hamstring stretch. So I'm going to move these things out of the way, and I start with one leg like this. Let's make sure you can see what I'm doing. And I stretch down and I hold for 30 seconds. I count to 30, then I come up, then I switch legs. I remember in high school, football players had a really hard time with this stretch. So sometimes men just have a really hard time stretching this leg to the side. But I'm not very flexible, so if I don't do these just about every day, I will totally lose my flexibility. I'll be like this. That's how far. But if you do this just about every day, you'll get a lot more flexible. And then I do the left leg again, and then right leg, and then I do a straddle and go forward for 30 seconds. I do the left leg for 30 seconds. And this is where I have the FORAMINAL stenosis on this side, on my right. So as I stretch toward that leg, I really think about stretching that part of my back, because that's where it is for me. And come up and do the right leg. Then I put the bottoms of my feet together, do one of these. Now most of you are going to start, if you've never done this before, you're going to start up here. That's just where your legs are going to be. Just let them, don't press it, because you don't want to pull a muscle. I'm going to do one more like that. And then my last stretch here is one of these. This I have the hardest time with. And 30 seconds. Okay, so now that I've done that, there are some other upper body exercises I do, also, and doing some push-ups, but I'm just concentrating in this video on what I do for the lower back. So at this point, I also do a calf stretch, and I'm adding some other calf stretches just because of the foot surgery, and I'm learning from the physical therapist about how all the muscles connect and pull and how our bodies are built. And so I do a calf stretch at this point, but then the last, I do a quad stretch, and that one I'm going to show you next. I've not really wanted to show anybody this, but at physical therapy, we of course did this on a table, and I would get to the edge of the table. This one I had the hardest time with. I couldn't believe I couldn't do it. But he worked with me on this, and I had to drop my leg, my right leg, I do both sides, down at the edge. So you can do this on a bed, but then you have to pull this leg up and just lie back and then stretch it and hold it for 30 seconds. Now, when I was first starting this out, he could only get my leg so far back. I mean, it was just so painful. But now I can stretch the whole thing and hold it for 30 seconds. But I make sure I do this every day, and I do both legs for 30 seconds. But you might want to do 3 sets, or at least 2 sets. I do 1 set now just because I'm a lot more flexible than I was. But this is an important calf or quad stretch, and you have to get this top leg back. Okay, so at the edge of the bed works just fine. Make sure to watch part 2 of this video by clicking the image on the right side of your screen, because you want to see all of the exercises that I'm doing for foraminal stenosis and to make myself really strong. Thanks for watching.